Are you ever scrolling through social media or through like a WhatsApp conversation with friends or family or a community that you're connected with, and you see something that is something to be celebrated for someone, and as you're going to type in congratulations, or as you read it, you get like the sense of jealousy comes over you, or the sense of why that person, or they don't deserve this, or anything that can creep in with a negative connotation to it. I was looking at a chat that I was in and noticed that this similar thing happened. Someone had something positive happen in their life. People were saying congratulations, and my ego instantly kicked in and was like, like kind of the like so what vibe. And it brought up two things, which is because yes, I'm still learning and very human and dealing with understanding what comes from ego versus what comes from like my higher self, or from what I would think that I would want to say to someone. And so before I responded like on the picture that was posted and saying congratulations, I just kind of sat and thought about, what is coming up? Why did my ego react and kind of do this so what thing? Like what is there to be jealous of? And I started breaking down things that were associated with that, which could be and are, for my own personal experience, is what that person does, what are their beliefs versus mine, what are the things that they find to be accomplishments in their life versus what I choose for mine, which majority of people I know, we live like completely opposite lifestyles, and where does that come from? Like, what am I really upset about here, so to speak? And when I broke it down and was like, this person does live a completely different life than me, their accomplishments have always been completely different than mine, and having this thought come in of where I want to be, where my ego wants to be like jealous of them, is where I can stop and identify that and understand that we live different lives, and be happy that on their journey, or be happy for them that they're on their journey and they're finding the success that they wish to build. And it kind of it quieted things down in the head. It quieted the ego down, because it brought into perspective not only reality, but just kind of what we each look at. Like, it's not even in the same category. I like that I listened to a talk once, and the person talked about staying within our race, or understanding like the race that we're in versus someone else, and that depending on the race that we're in, or the life that we're building, basically, we have to recognize and understand also that we're different, and that the race is not against each other, and that can go into a whole other conversation. But their example was, you have a race car in someone else's race, and then you have like a minivan, and if you're living this journey with that life of other minivans, that minivan is not going to do so hot racing against a sports car, which is the race that the life someone else is building. And that's good, because it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It's just they each have their reasoning, because then you also would not be able to fit things in the race car that someone could fit in their minivan. So you could be in that journey in life in the race car and look at that minivan and then try to enter that race and wonder, why am I not getting everything packed up in this car like they are? And it just is something to bring into awareness. And if you ever have these feelings that come in where you're just like reactive, or kind of like kind of response, you can also look back at where it comes from. They talk about it on Instagram, people comparing themselves on Instagram or in school, and in life, things can be this competition, no matter where you live. It's, across the globe, depending where you come from. It's that, survival of the fittest, or the best of the best mentality. And, that some people work great with that. That's great for their motivation. Not everyone. I'm someone that does not work so well with that. It tends to break me down, hence the negative mindset of seeing that person's accomplishment and responding negatively. But then I also love me to break down, what are things in my past that have reflected that, and what are things from childhood that may have also caused this to be my response system. Which, growing up in the society and life that I did, it was more of that, you compete, you are the best, and then you get, what do they call it? Like I'm a bad competitor, where there's like a word for it. My brain is like, I still need to eat today. So, but you get, angry, like you get very emotional when you compete, and that is me, which can be used for some things, but other things, like someone else having an accomplishment of a journey in life and race that I'm not even in, it can be kind of useless to have that coming up. So which that goes into maybe something also more of like fight or flight and different things, because that is something where, back in time, back in our ancient times where we were, competing for food and things, it can be a little different. But so, just sit back and allow this to sit with you if it is receptive and it aligns with things that have come up in your life, or even share, a time in the comments that you felt jealous, or you had anger or resentment or something towards someone, and maybe you reacted out of, bullying them, or making a rude joke, or saying, oh, so what, or making a face. And then kind of sit and wonder, what made you feel that way? If it wasn't like literally, you're in a 200-mile hurdle and they won first and you're mad that you didn't win first. That's a pretty quick giveaway. But something in life that might have caused that. And I don't know. We'll see in the future if we dive more into this topic. Take care.